All righty. We're going to have episode 3, Why Most People Will Lose the Comfort of Doing Nothing, in our next series, and how home business owners turn their hustle into hard assets. So let's get to it. My name is Howard Martell. We'll be broadcasting here from Virginia Beach, Virginia, where it's January 1st, 2026. And what an incredible year it was in 2025. I've already recapped it in the other episodes, but today the market was closed, so no updates on silver, but I'm expecting increases again. Why? There's so much chaos going on in the world. Let's just say that. So much chaos that if you're not following along, you got to understand that the dollar is struggling to keep up. And all these countries realize that, and they're starting to turn away. The great fourth turning. Why most people will lose the comfort of doing nothing. I explained the four comforts: saving cash, wages, retirement plans, and I'll figure it out later before you talk about the mindset of a winner. Jesus actually described the dynamic perfectly in the parable of the sower, Mark 4. He said, the sower sows the word. These are the ones by the wayside. When they hear, Satan comes immediately and takes away the word that was sown in their hearts. These likewise are the ones sown on stony ground. They receive it with gladness, and they have no root in themselves. When tribulation or persecution arises, immediately they stumble. These are the one sown among thorns, the cares of the world, the deceitfulness of riches, and the desires for other things entering in choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. But these are the ones sown on good ground. Those who hear the word, accept it, bear fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. Mark 4:14 through 20. I highly recommend you follow that, and that would become part of your anthem story. Wayside. Some people will hear everything we said about 2026: debt, inflation, hard assets, and it will bounce right off, gone before it even lands. Stony ground. Some will get fired up for a day or two. Then, soon as life gets busy or uncomfortable, they drop it, no root. Thorns. Some will agree with everything in theory, but the cares of this world, the deceitful riches, the bills, the pressure, the distractions, desire for comfort will choke the truth until it bears no fruit in their life. Good ground. A smaller group will hear, accept, and act, and it will produce 30, 60, 100-fold over time. And that is what silver did last year. Ended up, end of the year, ended up 150% for those who 14% that have been investing in it. The opportunity of 2026 is real. But like Jesus said, not everyone will respond the same way. The question isn't where there'll be a wealth transfer. The question is, what kind of ground will it be when the truth is sown? That's right, when the truth is sown. My hope is that as you listen, you won't be wayside, stony, or thorny ground. You choose to be good ground, then move into your mindset of the winning section. Now we're going to go into episode 4. So we're combining 2 episodes into one. I think that's important because they're each short, but they're very, very important in you and your family's alignment of what Christ wants you to be in his kingdom, his steward. He gives you the resources to be the steward of the money, the time, the talent, the ability if you wanted to start a home-based business like Howard's been doing for so long. Jesus gave me that. Near the beginning, right after you begin, explain the most businesses are just stressful jobs. Before you define what a business is as a hard asset, let's insert this. Let's connect this again on what Jesus said in Mark 4, because it doesn't just apply to hearing the gospel. It applies to how we respond to the truth of any kind, including money and business. In the parable of the sower, Jesus said, some seed fell by the wayside, some on stony ground, some among thorns, and some on good ground and yielded a crop, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. Mark 4:3-8. Then he explains the sower sows the word. Those by the wayside, Satan comes immediately and takes away. Those on the stony ground receive it with gladness, but have no root, so they endure only for a time. Now, what is that saying right there? Those on stony ground, you're on ground that's not fertile. It doesn't have Jesus's blessing. Let's just say that, and you receive it with gladness, but have no root. Without the root, let's do the analogy of a plant, right? You have a plant, and you you put that small little seed, let's say it's a mustard seed, you drop it in the ground and then you cover it with dirt, right? Are you just going to leave that seed to try to fend for itself? No, you're going to nurture it. You're going to provide it the resources it needs, the sunlight, the water, and much more. And then you're going to see it flourish because then it's going to go down into the deep, good ground and it's going to establish its root. The root of this is Jesus. Jesus is the root. Remember, he's the creator of everything. So without the root, you're not going to have a solid item come from the ground. Remember, the ground is good. God created through the breath of his mouth. He created you, created me. Now, of course, you had your two parents, your mother and father that consummated their relationship, became one to be able to conceive you through the womb. Just saying, it's all connected. Those among thorns, the cares of the world, the deceitful riches, and the desires of things choke the world and become unfruitful. But those on good ground hear the word, accept it, and bear fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. That right there is me. But those on good ground hear the word, accept it, and bear fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. Now think about it in the terms of business. Wayside, you hear teaching on system, lists, assets, but you never act. It gets snatched away like that. Stony ground, you get excited about turning your business into a real asset, but as soon as it requires extra effort and consistency, you quit. You're not rooted into it. You don't have that same visionary uh, thoughts. Thorns, you start building, but then the cares of the world, the bills, the fear, the busyness gets to you. The deceitful, the riches, you're chasing quick money. That's what happens for many years in the industry that I'm part of, in the affiliate marketing industry, in the direct selling industry. People are chasing money. They're chasing this dream that they can retire within 24 hours because they're going to make so much money because people are going to jump to go to their opportunity. People, that is a pipe dream. You first have to establish the money's in the list, the business is the list. I'm going to tell you that until my face turns blue. Hopefully not. But the desires for other things, comfort, distractions, the TV doesn't teach you anything unless you're watching an educational program that talks about things that are good in God's eyes. And that's rare on TV, but it's available. There are opportunities out there to partner with Good View, Good Virtuous Entertainment. They went from 2 million to 4 million in less than 2 years, people. We are taking back territory as fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. It's free to join. You also, if you have a business, you can potentially partner with them if they decide to take you on. I'm just telling you, we're taking back territory. It starts here. Hampton Roads, Virginia. The desires of other things, comfort, distractions come in and choke your progress. You're always busy, but never fruitful. Good ground. You hear what you need to know to clarify your offer. You build your list, you document your systems, you own your brand, and you actually do it. And then you rinse and repeat. Over time, your business starts producing a harvest at 30, 60, 100-fold. So we talk about structure, lists, offers, and brands today. I'm not just going to give you business tips. I'm sowing seeds into your stewardship. You get to choose what kind of ground your business life will be: wayside, stony, thorny, or good. We're going to continue on the 4 steps to turn your business into a hard asset section. Okay. So, parable of the sower. He said, the sower sows the word. Some falls by the wayside and taken away. Some on thorny ground, no root, and it withers. Others among them, the cares of the world, the deceitful riches. We're talking about this. Let's talk about hard assets. In 2026, hard assets, debt, inflation, home, business, education has been the seed. Now we're at a point where some of it will be wayside. It'll just bounce off and be forgotten. For others, it'll be stony ground. Good intentions for a week, then back to the old patterns. For others, thorns, the cares of the world, and the deceitfulness of riches will choke out. But a smaller group will be good ground. They'll hear this, they'll accept it, and they'll act on it. And over time, they will bear real fruit in their lives: 30-fold, 60, and 100. You see how it rinse and repeat. A hope is that you choose by God's grace to be in the good ground with what you've heard, spiritually, mentally, and financially, not from a place of fear, but from a place of stewardship and obedience in the moment of shaking. And what I wanted you to know is that God has a plan for each and every one of you. And if that plan means that you need to uh, be there and be equally yoked with people and understand, I want this to start the whole conversation about 2026 and the great wealth transfer with Jesus, with something Jesus said 2,000 years ago. It's called the parable of the sower in Mark chapter 4. Jesus said, listen, behold, a sower went on to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured it. Some fell on stony ground. It sprang up quickly, but had no root, and it withered. Some fell among the thorns. The thorns grew up and choked it, and yielded no crop. And some fell on the good ground and yielded a crop, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. Later explained the sower sows the word. Those by the wayside, Satan comes immediately and takes away the word that was sown in their hearts. Those on stony ground, when you hear the word, immediately receive it with gladness, but they have no root. When tribulation or persecution arises, immediately they stumble. Those among the thorns, the cares of the world, the deceitfulness of riches, and the desires of other things enter in, choke the word and becomes unfruitful. But those on good ground hear the word, accept it, and bear fruit. Some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. Or I'm just telling you, now, what does it have to do with 2026 and the biggest wealth transfer of life to everything? Because in the next season, truth about money, debt, inflation, and asset is going to be sown all over the place. Some will hear it and ignore it wayside. Some will be excited for the moment, then go back to the old habits. Some will let the cares of the world and deceitful riches choke it out. They'll be too busy, too scared, too distracted on thorny ground. And the smaller groups will hear, accept, and act. And that's where the real harvest will be. 2026 is not about markets and charts. Will you ignore the truth? It's a heart test. Will you receive it shallowly and then quit? Will you let fear, busyness, and the love of comfort choke you? Will you love the world more than your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who covered you with his blood? Will you? Or will the good ground, the kind that bears fruit 30, 60, and 100-fold? I've mentioned this so many times, people. Money is being quietly re engineered. Why hard assets like gold, silver, and real estate and real business matter, and how to position yourself on the receiving side of the wealth transfer, not the paying side. But I want this to say this clear up front. Information alone doesn't change your life. It's what's kind of ground your heart and mind are when the information hits. You get to decide. Will you be a wayside, stony, thorny, or on good ground? Or the good ground that hears the steps and bears fruits. If you want to be on good ground and how to handle both your faith and your finances time we're heading into, stick with the series. And we're already thinking about how to move some of the money from paper into something real like gold and silver. You can start getting educated at kepm.com. Jesus ended the parable with this line: he who has ears to hear, let him hear. Mark 4:9. If you got ears to hear for this moment in history, let's walk it out together. Let's walk it out together. I want you to be as successful as I have been blessed by God Almighty. Now, that was our series. This was a short one, but it was power packed. I hope you enjoy this. This will be released tomorrow morning, which will be Friday, January 2nd. Take care. God bless.